Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop and music journalist Mark Walter Ward. They have discussions about hip-hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? It's your boy Mark Walter Ward, the Super Facts Show. Today we're going to talk about DJ Clue's The Professional Volume 1. This album is of particular interest because it came at a time where mixtapes, before there was individual artist mixtapes, but mixtapes that were compilations of several different artists ruled the world. There's a humongous crossover between camps. Much like everyone else, I want to do numbers, and everybody loves talking about 90s rap. So I'm going to go through it track by track. But a brief overview of the project. At the time, it wasn't that common for retail mixtapes to come out. Funkmaster Flex had some, I believe 3 or 4, the 60 Minutes of Funk. You know, they had Biggie on one of them. I remember it was the first thing I ever heard the Locks on, Lil' Kim, some dope freestyles. But you know, they weren't perfect because, I mean, for one thing, they had Funkmaster Flex on them, particularly his voice. And you know, they mixed in parts of old songs, which is cool and everything. But at the time, you know, I think I was like 16 to 22 or something during their span, and I wanted to hear people rap. And if you had the tape, you had to keep fast forward. And so they definitely kind of sucked when you was in jail. But on the other hand, like I said, there was some outstanding verses on there. So anyway, this was the first one, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that what was it like all the way? I mean, who knows what even a mixtape is, but it's all the way a bunch of different artists with original songs, you know, in this case, were published and all that good. You know, there's Clue with his, I don't know what kind of jersey that is. St. John's Jones. Shit, maybe it's Ron Artest or something, probably, right? I guess there's nothing particularly special about the record. He got some little pictures. He got some little pictures on the jump, so at least they wasn't cheap with him. But you know, back in those days, Roc-A-Fella did everything big. You know what I mean? When Dame Dash was involved, everything with Roc-A-Fella was top quality. You know what I mean? Like, shit, just look at every Dipset project that came out on Roc-A-Fella. That shit had ridiculous rollouts. Go on eBay and look up the promo materials. Man, they had some bangers in the stores, the Memphis Bleek thing and all that too. Which, you know, that could fit right in because obviously all these people are on this is a Roc-A-Fella project. But what was interesting, one thing you gotta give Jay credit for, you know, if there was people that he had friction, tension, or actual drama with, he never prevented them from being on songs that could benefit their career that were released on his label. All the way from, you know, releasing Joel Santana on Def Jam to having Mobb Deep all over. Well, not all over, but Mobb Deep on this jump. Nas, you know, all that. I mean, who knows? There might be a guilty conscience, you know what I'm saying? But all right, so to go through this jump song by song, and I might go out of order because I took my notes on Spotify and the vinyl's a little different. And then there was a couple songs that existed on one and didn't exist on the other. But I think for the most part, the ones that's known. The first song, which, you know, might be the best, is the Rough Riders Anthem, the remix, featuring DMX, Jadakiss, Styles, Dragon, and Eve. Anyone who's bothered to listen to this podcast knows that song by heart. But I guess an interesting question would be who has the best verse. A strong contender would be Dragon. The Locks was definitely the mixtape Locks. Eve killed it. And the next Joan is a solo DMX song. It's on, you know, it's prime DMX. To be real with you, the beat's kind of average. It doesn't fit the song, but if you're a fan of DMX, you'll certainly like the song. You know, I'll be real with you. I never skipped it when it was on, but I forgot it existed. The next song was a Fantastic Four, which is kind of a pivotal song for me because I'm not gonna front. I didn't care for Cameron when I first heard him because I ain't like that weird shit about, you know, he gave his girls, he heard his girl got raped, so he gave her an AIDS test by going raw on her and pissing in the orange juice and and asking if it's tangy. That Confessions of Father song, I ain't never much cared for that weird shit. That's why I ain't been the biggest fan of Eminem, although I recognize his technical skill. But so you got the Fantastic Four with Cameron, Big Pun, N.O.R.E, and Canibus. No question, Big Pun has the best verse. That jump, Cameron's verse was so undeniable. I had to be like, yeah, Duke can rap. Noriega came through with the charisma and one of the best lines in the history of rap, in my opinion, where he's like, "See, I'm like the president. I smoke weed too. Don't really like to fuck. I just get head too. Stick a broom in your butt. Like, go ahead, boo." And nowadays on the internet, anybody can say anything, but that was like dumb, outrageous, and funny. That was like George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy level funny. Everybody I was around the first time they heard that shit, they laughed like a motherfucker. But surprisingly, at least amongst the circles I was in, because I was in the brief moment between high school graduation and prison where I was in college, and man, motherfuckers in college loaded on some Canibus. There was a lot of hype about Canibus. And listening to it again, it was definitely, homie had a big vocabulary and all that. But I remember at the time, that shit was the shit. Keep it real. Give credit where credit is due. And then, see, to be real with you, I gotta look at the notes about the songs. I forgot more. I don't gotta look at no, notes on Fantastic Four song. I listened to that shit last week. The Queen's Finest. Upon re-listening, that was a better beat than usual for Nas. For Nas, it was above average lyrically, I guess, but not particularly memorable. Like I said, I forgot it existed, and yeah, ain't really so much to say about it. I bet people, if they got Nas playlist, don't got that song in there. Then you got the Nature jump. The Nature song, it's a great song. I feel Nature is so underrated. That first Sony album is vicious. Nature can rap like a motherfucker. I love Nature. I wish there'd been more Nature. When Nature signed with Noriega, I guess in the 2010s, I'm sure there was a mixtape involved with that, which is probably fucking fire. But all those N.O.R.E and Nature, man, they need to release a vinyl of just N.O.R.E and Nature songs, because all of them songs with like Magic and Bird. But Nature, the Firm, like everybody talk about the Firm flop, but you listen to that album, that shit is vicious. So I'm all about the Nature jump. Then you got gangster shit with Jay-Z and Ja Rule. I mean, that's pre-Blueprint Jay-Z at his best. That shit went hard as fuck. I love that shit. I listened to it over and over. And Ja Rule verse was above average for a good rapper, not just for him. That's when he was on the gangster shit. I like Ja Rule. I like Ja Rule's first album. He wasn't like singing and shit. Now I can't even take the Bama seriously. From the Fyre Fest documentary. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. And Ja Rule might be able to whip my ass, but it's hard for me to take him seriously. Next is Memphis Bleek. I've always thought Memphis Bleek is underrated. If you like Memphis Bleek, you'll love this song. If you like hard 90s rap, you'll love this song. Thugged out shit, Memphis Bleek. But I always like telling this story that just demonstrates how real Bleek is, and ain't none of it for credit. When Twitter first came out, that shit was like amazing to me, that you could like talk to famous motherfuckers, because I try to be a rapper and give my demos to people, and it'd be hard as shit to meet them. And make a long story short, I used to go up to New York to get mixtapes, and all them Roc-A-Fella movements like State Property and shit had mixtapes that never made it on Dat Piff or anything. Like, it was between the era of them shits getting uploaded. And Memphis Bleek and Get Low, they had some mixtapes. And on one of them Jones, it was this Memphis Bleek song. It was number 12 on the mixtape. I don't remember the name of it or nothing, but it had this insane beat. And part of it, Memphis Bleek was like, I'm the blue flame, you N-words is lame. And I emailed the address in his Twitter bio, and within like 20 minutes, somebody responded. And all I emailed was basically what I just said to you, except I use stars in the N-word. And it was like, yeah, I think I know what that is. I'm gonna get it to you. And then like literally a month later, and this is like, I hadn't had an email in my life for more than a month. And like a month later, I get an email that was like, my bad for taking so long. I didn't know how to put this shit on the computer. And if it was Bleek or whoever answered that email, they sent me a fucking download link to that mixtape. That which is just still so crazy to me. Because like, if you know rappers, they rarely take time out of their own time, and not to say they're selfish or anything, but they're real people. And between professional obligations and personal obligations, they rarely have time to be emailing some random stranger a fucking CD that they converted into a digital file before people knew how to do that. So after that is My Thing 99 featuring EPMD, Redman, and Keith Murray. I'm gonna keep it all the way gully. You know, anybody watch this probably gonna give me some hate. I like Redman. I love the Redman Method Man album. I don't think Parrish is a good rapper. I think Eric Sermon is a terrible rapper. I think EPMD is overrated. I think Eric Sermon is a fine producer. Keith Murray, I mean, there's no denying the ability to string a bunch of long words together that makes sense narratively. But also being said, I have not once ever heard the words, hey, let's listen to that Keith Murray joint. And I mean, I ain't trying to be a hater. Like, I hope Keith Murray releases a song with Dua Lipa, Madonna, and an unreleased Elvis Presley vocal, and makes so much money that he can buy Elon Musk house. I have no ill will towards the man, but yeah, you know. But while we're on the subject of Keith Murray, one of the biggest injustices in rap history happened to him when he got unfairly incarcerated from a promoter that tried to cheat him. If you don't believe in systemic racism, Google the words Keith Murray and Connecticut promoter. After that, you have, yet again, for me to be honest, Flipmode Squad. I like Rod Digger. Love Rod Digger. I think Rod Digger's great. I forgot Baby Sham even existed. I Get Busted as Do as a legend. Shout out to my show SDE with G from the Shop. But he's somebody I respect, but I'm not a fan of. Although I love the Woo-Ha remix with Old Dirty Bastard. And Woo-Ha is one of the illest songs that Backyard ever go. Shout out to Big G. The other dudes, I don't think any of them would have ever got a record contract if they ain't no Busta Rhymes. You know, and you know, this one's a little hard for me because I've interacted with Rampage or the Last Boy Scout. Because to be honest with you, I'm not clear if they're the same person, but who they were very nice and kept it real with me and helped me out before. But you know, who's gonna respect my opinion if I don't give my opinion? So then on the next one, we got That's the Way, the infamous That's the Way. Because the one thing I didn't mention about Clue, what led him to be worthy of this, and I should have said it with the Mobb Deep Jones or the Nas song, was, you know, he released the mixtapes in New York when it and he ran the mixtape game. He had all these exclusives. And I swear to God, some of the best Mobb Deep songs never got released, I imagine, due to sample issues, and they were on Clue tapes. But them Clue tapes in the 90s were fucking, they were incredible. Like I heard Dead Presidents one on there well before there was ever the Jay-Z video. Unreleased Nas Jones, all these Firm songs with Cormega. Man, the Clue tapes were the truth. And I'm not saying other DJs weren't good or didn't have those, but I know a lot of those would be freestyles or exclusives, you know. Then I think it kind of evolved to like cats like 50 Cent figured out, why not give each different DJ an exclusive, then I'm gonna get a look on everything. And then they figured out, why not make it, and then Dipset really figured out, why not make it myself and we gonna keep the money. But anyway, so the infamous, or not infamous, it was infamous because it generated a lot of heat where I was at. People talked about it. That's the Way had Mace, Foxy Brown, and the first time we heard Fabolous, unless you had heard the Clue tapes, and being in either DC or the South, most of the people in my circle hadn't heard the Clue tapes. So they tried to say Fabolous sounded like Mace, and they dismissed him a little bit at first, but I was already a little hip to Fabolous, so it wasn't true. And man, that is a lyrical ass song right there. Like, I don't know if Foxy is even rated or properly rated, or like if you should even say female MCs, but Foxy Brown does not get her just due as a rapper, regardless of gender. Mace verse on that shit. I mean, it's clear why, to me, why Mace is Eminem's favorite rapper. Like Mace like even the album that shit behind me. I don't see it though, but you know the non-cussing shit with Welcome Back. Like man, he be busting on that jump, and even the first album where every song's like, "Yo, you're hating on me, and I'm gonna get robbed," which I didn't want to hear at all. Like man, he can rap like shit, and Fabolous just absolutely just destroys that. That's when he was Fabolous Sport. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, he should do a throwback jump to where he a concept jump where he's Fabolous Sport again, and then he can come in and check for the idea because that'd be dope. Then I forgot about this song, and most times when I forget about shit, it's bad because the song sucked. But this time it's bad because I should have had this in my life. You know, I always like gangster shit. Like I like the first Outkast album, then lamed out on them until B.O.B. because they weren't rapping about selling no drugs or killing no people. Because I was a brainwashed motherfucker, and that's all I saw while I lived and shit. But so point being, I didn't get Missy or Just Due. And in retrospect, man, Missy's incredible. And I like Control with Missy and a rapper named Mocha, who, you know, much like many people out of that camp, you know, went away with barely a tweet. No pun intended. What pun intended? And that shit was corny. But I'm a dad, so I can make dad jokes and shit. And Nicole Wray, man, she was blowing on that thing. Nicole Wray got a mixtape on Dat Piff that's like a compilation of her appearances on Roc-A-Fella shit from SAS to the aforementioned Memphis, Bleek, I believe, Freeway. I don't know. I think Jay-Z, but it's dope. A couple Dipset jumps like J.R. Ryder and shit like that. Nicole Wray was awesome. Then the next song was Bitch Be a Hoe, which wasn't available to listen to on Spotify, but I went and listened to it on YouTube. There's no way I listened to a Jermaine Dupri song in 1999 or whenever this album came out, 1998. Upon listening to it, it's a worse verse than Money Ain't a Thing. Jermaine Dupri never should have rapped. That being said, I enjoyed the album 1472 very much. Other than the Brat, he was never successful with an adult rapper, except for I guess he had a couple one-hit wonders, maybe. I don't know. This R.O.C guy is mediocre, really average to be favorable. Again, I hope he's found happiness and success in this world, but I don't ever want to hear him rap again. Then there's a solo song from Fabolous Sport, which I think is a song I'd heard before, and I might not even heard him on the mixtape. I might have heard a sampler that had this on it. There used to be these things called samplers that have like little snippets of songs. If the people at the record store always saw you buy music, they give it to you. Probably because in retrospect, they was pimping us because they know we was like the people that go tell our friends like, yo, this person is nice, and then people buy their shit. But I mean, Fabolous killed it. Young Fabolous. I mean, Fabolous was always lyrical, you know, but, you know, cats try to say he sounded like Mace, which, you know, sometimes I think people sound like people just because they're from the same area and they have the same type of voice, like B.O.B. and Andre, like Andre 3000. Like, I don't think it's intentional at all. Like, of course they have the same delivery. People from where they live at have the same cadence of speaking. They have the same accent. So if they have a similar physical frame, and I don't know, I ain't no doctor, nothing, but their vocal boxes or some shit are the same size. Like, why wouldn't they sound the same without trying to sound the same? Like all them people that sounded like Jay-Z without trying to sound like Jay-Z, as opposed to the people who tried to sound like Jay-Z. After that, you got, oh shit, there's my opportunity to talk about the Mobb Deep Clue song. So instead it's The Professional. It's a great, as always, any Mobb Deep. After Prodigy first album, for some reason to me, he stopped rhyming, except when he first came out of prison. And I enjoyed him much more when he rhymed more. But that being said, I believe there was a point in time where Prodigy was the greatest rapper alive. Rest in peace, Prodigy. I loved his biography. I love Mobb Deep. They were so instrumental in my formative years as a rap fan. But in this case, like, I like to talk about Noyd. He had several solo albums that were dope as fuck. Like, I never thought Noyd got the credit he deserved. I love some Noyd. All right. Next on the last of the vinyl, there's a Raekwon song that, you know, if you like the second Raekwon album, you'll definitely like this song. It's very reminiscent of that. It's Raekwon that being Raekwon. Um, I mean, it's hard for me to say what the top of his game is because Cuban Links was the top of his game, but was that lyrically or was that conceptually? Was that the sound bed or was it lyrically or was it a combination of it? Raekwon's just been a quality artist for 30 years. If you like rap music, you should like the song. I didn't particularly find anything unique about it pertaining to Raekwon outside of his inherent uniqueness. The next song was Cops and Robbers with the odd pairing of Lord Tariq and Muggs, who I assume is Muggs of Cypress Hill. But upon listening to it, it seemed like it was three people rapping to me. So I could be totally tripping about this. Lord Tariq, again, I hope he gets a winning lottery ticket tomorrow and buys Microsoft. But I don't even think he would have been a one-hit wonder if it wasn't for Peter Guns and Muggs is a Legend, Soul Assassin, Cypress Hill. I personally would never listen to this song on my own initiative. Not only did I forget it existed, I'm sure I was never even aware it existed because I probably would have took my professional out of the CD player at this point. And looking at this lineup, I probably wouldn't have, if I had it on tape, I probably wouldn't have flipped it to the second side. I would have had the Mobb Deep song on a separate tape that I made myself, compiled of Mobb Deep songs on albums I didn't feel like listening to the rest of. After that, you have a song by Made Men, who I assume is the Made Men from Boston. And I assume that this was included so the album would get a better rating in the source, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I forgot though. Then you got the M.O.P jump. The M.O.P jump go hard as shit. It's called No Love, and it's geek because it kind of starts out with like some En Vogue sound and shit for like 10 seconds. Then it comes on with this beat that's hard as hell, but then the hard as hell beat is kind of like boom bapish, native tonguish. But then they on there like, how about some hardcore level delivery on the hook? But then some of the verses are slightly more intricate than usual for them, but not really though. So it's still all the way M.O.P, but then it's something different. That song, and I probably didn't peep this at the time. That song is very interesting. I'm definitely gonna revisit that. No Love M.O.P. You know, Spotify didn't give the production credits. I need to look up who produced that. Although I assume it's Homeboy. I assume it's Fame. But shit, I like that. I need to find out what that sample is because I want to hear what the original song is. And if it's not a sample, shout out to that singer because that shit was great. Because it was also used quite well in the song over the you know the rap sound bed. Like one thing I've always peeped about Fame is he's a producer, not just a beat maker. Almost everybody who came from before Pro Tools is like that though. You know, speaking of Muggs earlier. And then the final song, R.I.P. Sean Price, is the boot camp Clik. There's so much to say about it. Rock was really dope. It had Helter Skelter. You know, but more so the name thing, it reminded me of how much Black Moon changed my life and how much I like Buckshot Shorty and how much of a legend he is. And man, just Boot Camp Clik does not get the credit they deserve. They were the true pioneers of East Coast rap. You know, I know it's all about who got the attention, but I wish there was like that Wu-Tang show that's on Showtime or Hulu or Showtime on Hulu, or, you know, I can sound like an old man and say like My Book and Face Space, but you know, whatever that Wu-Tang shit is, you know, I wish there was a joint like that about Boot Camp Clik. Cause I mean, shit, they don't get credit for being relevant now. You know, I know they help with Young Ma, you know, they make dope ass looking Chuck looking sneakers of rappers and shit. You know, man, I gotta get somebody from there to talk to me and last. But yeah, that I felt like it was worthwhile to revisit the professional, just because, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I like thinking about those days, and then you know, looking at it and listening to it made me think of how some people you never thought would have went away ain't nowhere, and vice versa. And then just so many different people came together at one point. It's like being a comic book fan, man. So many what ifs. So This been the Super Facts Show. Your boy Mark Waldo Ward. I'll have an episode with St. Laz soon. I know you've seen his jail prison web series and the podcast series M.O.P is blowing up. Millions of views, thousands of unique viewers. A screen time that's literally higher than people like Lady Gaga. So if anybody's interested in sponsorship, promotions, or commercials, you know, get at Real St. Laz on Instagram or contact the Super Facts Network. Again, this has been the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network. Make sure you should check out our other shows, M.O.P and SDE, where me and G from the shop discuss sports, hip hop, movies, you know, everything that pertains to sports, dope shit, entertainment. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Please like, rate, and review.